the paint job was absolutely unbelievable.
When I looked out and saw the amount of people, I was like, oh my man, this is crazy. It literally felt like a gig. It was like insane.
I didn't really feel any pressure entering the competition, which sounds a bit weird. There's something about finally putting your miniature in that cabinet.
The paint job is just fantastic. The sort of like the tiny little bits of damage and nicks and marks all over it. The colour choices for like some of the vials and like all the wear on like even the spanner hanging on the waist, the little bits of wear and stuff that are on there. Just fantastic. Like really, really fantastic.
Hello everyone and welcome to Paint Perspective, episode 104, sponsored by Everything Airbrush for your airbrush needs, supplies, all that good stuff. Check the link in the description below. In this episode, we're of course going to be talking about IronSkull 2025, a roundup of the event. We're going to go through some of the winners gallery and talk about our own entries as well. But first, Paul, welcome back to the podcast.
Hello.
You're back.
It's been a minute. Yes, I know.
Where have you been?
Well, when I was last due to come on, I was ill, wasn't I? I was
Yes.
quite ill, so I almost had a whole week off because of it.
I think you were channeling your inner Nurgle for your entry. Is
yes,
that right?
I was mustering my own sort of
brewing
filth and plagueness. Yeah.
But it certainly paid off.
Well,
How
you
long,
say that.
How long did you have to paint your entry? Let's get that on the table straight away. Come on.
Well, I had a week. I mean, it wasn't exactly my fault, but by the time I'd figured out what I wanted to paint,
Hang on a minute.
initially-
We announced IronSkull almost a year ago.
Yeah.
You knew
Well-
you was going to be going to this competition and you waited until the week before to start.
Not really. Well, because I can only enter staff category,
Yeah.
which is kind of being thrown to the lions. Okay, in all
No,
fairness,
you're fine. You're good.
But once I then figured out exactly what I wanted to do, I had about 6 weeks or so before the competition.
So you thought you put your feet up,
I thought
get ill.
No, because then I ended up with painting the Lord of Poxes,
Yeah, great model.
which that took me 2 days.
But
so that's 2 days out of those 6
But
weeks.
come on, let's be honest with the viewers and the listeners. That
Days. I thought you said that as if that's a long time.
Just dropped it. Just 2 days. Yeah.
Well-
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Lord of Poxes, he was a sideman, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, but I mean,
What happened? Come on.
well, I wanted to paint Typhus.
Yep.
Obviously, it's a sort of a bit of my own sort of celebration of 2 years of painting.
I think that's a good thing. I think it's
valid.
valid. Yeah.
Was that like one of the first models you painted when you got back?
Almost was, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I painted some Death Trail Terminators or
Yeah, yeah.
something like that. But then Typhus. So I thought I'd get one of those. I ordered him. He was in stock when I ordered, and then a few weeks later, I was told he's no longer in stock.
It's not good.
So I had to think of something quick to do as a backup, which wasn't as detailed because obviously time was ticking. So I got the Lord of Plagues, which is
It's a great model.
small, much smaller, just two main areas of skin. Like he's basically like dad bodies, and he's just got his big belly. He's just skin and some armor. So I thought, yeah, I can do that. And he was in stock. So, and then I got him a couple of days later.
I'm never going to look at that model the same again without
No,
thinking his dad bod.
He's great, isn't he? There
He's
he is.
there.
Look.
Bosh, there he is.
There he is. Look at his little belly, almost hanging over his axe. It's
Do you know
so
what? I'm going to say this. You absolutely smashed it for the time frame, mate. And the base looks great.
great. Yeah, not bad for a couple of days, is it?
Look at that.
No, he
flex.
arrived.
The flex.
He
The
arrived on a
tentacle flex.
Friday. He arrived on a Friday, so I sort of put him together that evening. And then Saturday and Sunday,
I'm going to say this. I think this is your best model. I think it's your best model, mate. I'm not even going to. I think it looks fantastic. I love what you've done with like the little boils. The one on the chest, that the transition on it is great, dude. Yeah, is that a little bit of non-metallic on the van brace as well?
that's what I'm trying. Yeah.
It's kind of like a non-metallic kind of all over,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Well, in my own kind of crazy sort of style.
No,
It
mate.
reminds me of the, I've forgotten the name of it. What's the fella on the horse you done not too long ago?
Lord of Decay.
Lord of Decay, yeah.
Mm.
Honestly, mate, 2 days, you absolutely, you're an animal.
I-
Absolutely smashed it.
Savage beast.
Absolutely smashed it.
I love the base as well.
Yeah, it looks great. I love the green tinge for like the mossy sort of
Yeah,
stuff on there.
threw
So
that
it's
together.
great.
I sculpted
Yeah,
most
I
of that.
threw that together.
It's so funny. I sculpted most of that. It's mostly sculpted.
You sculpt, mate. He's chopping. He's 2 days. 2 days.
So I
Mate,
thought-
I'm glad I didn't enter Staff Cat this
Can
year.
you imagine what he could do if you gave him a whole week?
Yeah, I know.
So
Well,
I'm
he did
gonna-
have a week. I think he got the model and went, oh, wait a few days.
If I actually did the
He
whole
looked at it,
week.
oh, 2 days, that'd be fine.
If you gave him a week
Yeah.
to paint, he'd spend the first 5 days playing video games and eating snacks.
Well,
and then
I thought, well, I'd paint it and then perhaps go back to it in a couple of days' time and see it. But I never did. I didn't. I
Mate,
did it and left it alone.
absolutely annihilated it. You absolute animal. And I tell you what, I love the way that it's shiny on like the where the skin's ripped and the underside.
The
You've got
boils,
like, the boils.
yeah, I
and
thought
stuff
might
there.
be a bit more.
It's great.
damp in
No,
there,
it's
so a
great,
little
dude.
bit
It's
of a
really
feeling.
good, mate. Honestly.
But
Like-
so yeah, I thought I'd. Have a
I
go,
didn't.
but
I didn't really get a chance to properly look at it when obviously the judges were looking at it. They had staff cat. I ushered everyone away for that moment because I didn't want any team like earwigging during the judging. I wanted it to be a surprise for them, obviously. Yeah, I obviously saw it from this perspective,
of course, yeah.
the whole
Just
time.
see
Obviously,
his,
see his backside.
His
In hands, dude, yeah, it's great. And like for the time you put in, yeah, fair play, dude. You absolutely annihilated it.
No,
you should be seriously proud of that. Like,
and also because I mean, like I say, I didn't really feel any pressure entering the competition, which sounds a bit weird.
no, I mean, why is that? So, do you want to break that down a bit?
Well, because I'm in staff category, which is world class painters, Golden Demon winners, ex heavy metal, and it's so I thought, well, they're the guys that are actually in the competition, and I'm just entering for a bit of fun.
You smashed it.
So I really enjoyed the process of painting him. I think if I was under a lot more pressure for painting it, I'd be a lot more worried.
No,
about,
mate, you killed it.
Why would there have been more pressure if you was in the public category?
Because
that's the same thing. There's lots of amazing painters in
Yeah,
there.
exactly the same.
Yeah, there is. I mean,
and more.
I didn't actually get to see all the miniatures in the cabinets, but I mean the quality of them is just ridiculously high. But I think I'd stand some chance in there. I thought maybe in another year as well, especially.
If you've done that in 2 days, I'm dreading what you're going to do in a year.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Yeah.
Confidence.
We'll see. Yeah, yeah, we'll see. We'll be all right. Yeah. So
It's interesting what you said though, because I felt the opposite way. I felt more pressure being in the staff category than if I was in the regular category, because just for sheer numbers.
Yeah, because I think my thought process on it, and it is like, and even in 2020 when I entered as well, like it was like, yes, there's less people in the category, but because everyone knows there's less people in the category, they're going to go harder because the odds are better basically because of that. But which I still think in itself makes the fight internally in the category hard.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So
yeah.
And also everyone in the staff category is a professional painter to a degree.
I know, right?
So.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm the boxer upper.
No, mate, you're more than that. Honestly, genuinely, that
I think of you more as a tape dispenser.
Yeah,
that's true. I am. No, but
I just want to say for the record, I did not say that. Okay, I value Paul massively in the business. Yeah. Okay.
I wouldn't normally go in for sort of big competitions and things, but actually I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Everyone got a little bit of a fire in their belly, didn't you, George?
I think, yeah.
Didn't you, George? You got a
I guess that,
you got a little bit of a fire in your belly.
Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to the next one.
I was having, as much as I was running around like a maniac, and we'll talk about that a bit later. But I was having massive FOMO, going, "Oh my god, I wish I
want to be in the cabinet."
I want to be in the cabinet. Yeah,
I will say this: there's something about finally putting your miniature in that cabinet.
It's because everything you've done on the miniature is for that moment. So when that moment comes and happens, and you're just like, it's done. Does that make sense? It's like it's the celebration of everything that you put into it, which I think is which makes it so heartwarming.
The best bit is when the model goes in the cabinet, not when it comes out.
Yeah.
But and then trying to position it so the light hits it right, so trying to tweak it a little bit, push it a bit further back. But everyone's saying, pull your miniature back a bit, get the light. I'm just in there trying to.
It's something. It's something that again, that's something with cabinets is really. Cabinets is hard. They never look as good in cabinets, which is the thing. And I'd love to have everything on like shelving with like loads of daylights and stuff. But I think there's a lot. There's also there's pros and cons to both. And I think like especially when you've got an event with a lot of people, and you've got obviously, I don't know, thousands and thousands of hours of all the effort that everyone's put in. I just don't want to have that risk at a show and have someone like knock a model or lean over trying to look at something and maybe a lanyard gets caught or like, I don't know, or like, but I'm going to look at other things for next year. Like,
I like the cabinets. I'm on team cabinet.
No, I like cabinets. I'm actually going to see if I can get colder, like more natural light rather, because they're a little bit warm for me this year. So I'm gonna have a look into that, I think. But
something similar to what people actually paint under.
Like daylight. I want to get more. They were light, but they were a bit warm. So yeah, it's just a real niggle, like granular niggle for me. But like I want to just have a look at that.
Yeah, no, it was great fun. I really enjoyed it.
If you're a miniature painter, you'll know how important it is to have the right tools for the hobby. but it doesn't matter what brushes or paints you have if you can't see what you're doing in the first place. If you want to improve your painting, contorting yourself under a small, repurposed lamp from around the house, giving yourself a backache and straining your eyes just isn't going to cut it. That's why one of the biggest upgrades I've ever made to my painting setup was my Onyx painting lamp from Native Lighting. Its articulating arm allows me to sit in the perfect painting position for those long hobby sessions, and its super bright 2200 lumen, dimmable LEDs cast soft and diffused light on my models without any harsh shadows. As someone with a very small hobby space, by far my favourite feature is its adjustable mounting clamp, which attaches to the side of my desk, maximising my free workspace. And its daylight colour balance temperature of 6500K gives you the confidence that colours you are painting are accurate and your miniatures will pop on the tabletop. To upgrade your setup to the equipment we rely on here at Siege Studios, head to the link in this episode's description or go to siegestudios.co.uk/shop. Cool. After that very high intensity intro to the podcast, let's rewind a little bit because there's like 3 people out there who don't know what we're talking about. So IronSkull was a painting competition that Siege Studios put on this past week.
Yep.
For you guys listening. James's baby. It's a competition that you've built kind of based on going to so many competitions and kind of taking an amalgamation of all the different things you like about different ones.
I've always wanted to do one. And the first one was in 2020 in London, in Shoreditch. And it was a really great event, like really, really good event. So much so that people were, what happened, obviously, I'll go into the details a little bit. So we had, obviously, IronSkull in 2020, fantastic event, 350 plus people attended, loads of entries, really, really great event, ran really well, single day event, same as what we've done this year. And then COVID happened. We literally were the only company or the only painting competition in 2020 because of obviously the pandemic.
It was just before.
It's just before, literally. Like, and that wasn't like us trying to sneak it in. We had it. We decided.
It was just convenient timing.
We decided to do it in February of that year, and because I wanted to do one, but like do the first comp of the year. I think it'd be a nice thing to do. COVID happened. 2 years flew by, and during those 2 years, obviously COVID peaked and troughed, and there was a period of time where we thought we might be able to run the competition. So there's one book for 21. Obviously, the world was still very turbulent. We unfortunately had to cancel it or postpone it. Tried to do it again in 22, and we got. I won't go too much into it, but we had some issues with the venue. Got messed around a little bit, and suffice to say that we just decided to put a complete full stop on it put it on hold for foreseeable. And then I'd be going to competitions and people would be going, oh, what about IronSkull? When's it coming back? Like, when you're doing it, you're going to do it again. It was really good. Like, blah, blah, blah. So, and I had loads of people like messaging me, speaking to me when I went to other competitions, when I went to events, when I saw people, or even when we had people in here, like, you know, people would ask about IronSkull, and I've got to say, like, the biggest thank you to every single person that asked about it during that time where it was on hold, because really all of those people that asked about it, it allowed me to know that the demand and desire for it was still there. And at the same time, it kept chucking, just as that fire was that was dying, it was just chucking a little bit of a spark back on it. So it was really good. And then, we decided to bring it back this year. Still a single day event, which we won't be doing again because it was very stressful.
We can get into that later.
Yeah,
but.
It was. I was blown away by it. Absolutely blown away by it. The reception and just I'm still like yeah.
I mean, it came back way bigger than last time.
Oh wow,
right?
yeah. Oh boy, yeah. So over 850 people. I don't know the final count. I know it's more than 850. And then entries was around about. I think it was about 500 to 550, 525.
Yeah, there must have been well over 500 models in the cabinet for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. That was just like a crazy. And I like the other thing. While I'm here, I've got to say it. Like, it wasn't just UK people coming. It was like we had people from Germany, from Denmark, from France, like Norway. One of the junior. Got someone from Australia. I'm going to apologise now because I'm sure there's other countries and people who came from other countries, but I haven't looked at all the figures and I need time to digest. It's only been literally couple of days as the time of recording this since IronSkull, but
it wasn't just local Essex boys.
No, it wasn't. No, it was absolutely crazy, and I've got to say, like, when I done the awards and I went up on the stage at 3:00 to announce obviously like the entry collection for finalists, and when I looked out and saw the amount of people, I was like, oh man, this is crazy. It was the first time I've been on a stage since when I was in music, and like then I'd be used to kind of like crowds and that size or kind of that stuff, and then stepping on stage, I was like, wow, this is. I literally was like, this is mental, like absolutely mental. And then the award ceremony, everyone obviously stayed. It was amazing that so many people stayed for the award ceremony as well. That was, I've got to say that's like,
Yeah.
It was packed.
yeah, it was absolutely rammed. Like it
so good,
literally felt like a gig. Like it literally
Yeah.
felt like a gig, you know. Like and one of the old shows I used to play with, like people, and it was just like, it was like insane.
Just to chime in on that, if you are listening to this episode on audio, jump over to YouTube because throughout the episode we'll be running some like B-roll from the event and stuff. So some visual aids.
I do want to do a lot of tweaks for next year, you know, just to really kind of improve it for everybody, and that's really kind of like we've got over a year now.
Tickets are on sale, by the way. Check the link in the description. They're already on. If you want to get early bird tickets for 2026,
order my model now. Before.
Yeah.
It might be in stock by then.
It might be.
Yeah. But yeah, we obviously have announced next year. So next year it's the 18th and 19th of July. Same venue, Brentwood Centre in Essex, and it'll be a 2-day event. So I'm really glad that it's going to be a 2-day event.
Should we go through some of the winners gallery then? Just some. We're not going to go through every single one because we of course haven't got the time. However, I mean the caliber at this competition was absolutely crazy. I had the privilege of seeing some of these in hand in the sort of media zone as well.
Yeah.
Up goodness
close
me.
and personal. Yeah, during my lunch break, I tried to get round as many of the cabinets as possible to have a good look at them, but there were so many in there. And everyone I looked at, I went, oh, look at that.
I thought you were in pain every time. I was like, every time I saw
everyone else. But,
I think what I'll do is I'll put as many as I can in the edits for people on screen. But for just us here and now, should we just pick out some honourable mentions?
Yeah, I think let's talk about the most entered category, which is single figure sci-fi.
Busiest category.
It was crazy. I mean, single figure sci-fi. Single figure is always a busy category, just because number one, the investment into the category is quite minimal. It's a single figure, so you're always going to get people into that. And I think that's a really good category to test yourself as a painter, because if you do really well in that category, it kind of gives you a good barometer of where you're at as a miniature painter. So obviously in bronze to start off with, it was Bobby Thompson with the amazing big mech orc. So Bobby's won IronSkull previously. He won in 2020. It's really good to see him returning, obviously, to IronSkull. And I loved the orc that he done. I thought the orc was brilliant. Really, really liked it. There's so much cool stuff on there to talk about. And I know we've got a limited amount of time, but the overall execution, the paint job is just fantastic. The sort of like the tiny little bits of damage and nicks and marks all over it. The color choices for like some of the vials and like all the wear on like even the spanner hanging on the waist, the little bits of wear and stuff that are on there. It's just fantastic. Like really, really
I really
fantastic.
like the skin tone for the orc as well. It's like a pale green.
Yeah, with those subtle pink hues in there as well on it's sort of
especially towards like the wounds and stuff. Yeah.
Favorite bits, the cog on the backpack with the verdigris. I love that. Absolutely love that. It's a little bit of detail just flanking him at the back and the little bits of verdigris on it for me. Just I absolutely loved it. Really, really great model. Little bits of interest like the orcs. They just chuck stuff together, and this guy specifically, like the little bit of chevron tread plate or the little bit not tread plate, the little bit of chevron plate on the side of the gun. Little things like that just add so much character and narrative to the piece. But it's like it seems like something you just glimpse over, but like when you really look at it in granularity, like the tiny little marks and details and things on it, just really, really cool. Loved it.
Silver in that category was Zhao Guan.
Yeah.
Apologies if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but
this was literally smooth as silk in hand. Like absolutely,
it looks amazing.
Absolute fair play to him, because like the quality of this piece was just fantastic. And I know it was a real. When it came down to the judging, obviously I wasn't involved with the judging, but I was just keeping the time management side of it and watching the judges go through single fig was like the time investment, like judging the which ones were in the top echelon of the category. This was in contention, like right from like initial inspection. It was like, this is really good. And you know, it was a fantastic piece. The free-handed U on this sort of like the armor panel on the front, absolutely, but rendered amazingly. Like it's super, super sharp. Like I love the tonal variants on it as well. I thought it was fantastic.
It's got quite a grittiness to it. That model's sort of
it's
theme as well, isn't it?
I can't. The only way I can explain it is it's got like a grim dark vibe, but it's not grim dark.
I wouldn't call it grim dark.
No, but it's got like a mood to it. Do you know what I mean? I can't explain it.
Just menacing, isn't it?
Yeah, like that's what I mean. It's got like a moodiness to it, but but like I can't explain it. But it's vibrant as anything, and yeah, really good primary color triad. Obviously, the yellow, blue, and red accents. It's just just fantastic.
That little bit of story there with the sort of the seven, like the arm, like and the
world eater.
destroyed blade.
Yeah,
there
it's
on
really
the
cool.
base. So
Yeah.
you know that you just sort of missed or sort of just witnessing some sort of victory.
It's
there.
enough on
Yeah.
there to tell a little bit of a story,
Yeah.
but it's not so much to
Yeah.
take away from the miniature.
Yeah.
Which
It's funny
I think-
because you've spoken about that before when we've been given like critique and stuff to just people with their gaming miniatures. Like I'd say,
Yeah.
it's fun looking at all these competition winners because there's so many little things like that. Which, while yes, this is a competition entry and you're not going to paint to this level for your army necessarily, little things like that are things that you can take and pluck from competition entries and incorporate them onto your own stuff,
100%,
like
yeah.
a severed arm, something like that. I mean, that is that narrative effect.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
It just
Yeah.
tells a little bit of a story, which is fantastic.
Yeah. So I have to say, before we talk about the next one, this was my favorite miniature in any category,
Of course.
Yeah.
bar none for me personally.
Yeah.
Not just because it's a Blood Angel, but the paint job was absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely
I have
unbelievable.
been, I'm very biased towards this for obvious reasons, but trying to remove that as best as possible. The rendering and execution of it, I've seen this model in hand, and
As have I. Yeah.
it is just jaw dropping.
So this is Anthony Paul Smith's Blood Angels captain, kitted out in full non-metallic metal gold, but the execution is so good. You could have fooled me, and even better in hand, I have to say, because that's often something that I've not gelled with non-metallics. Is like when you see it in hand, it, like you move it a little bit, and then like, it doesn't really work for me necessarily. But this is like even in the hand, I'm like
in
it's
in
metal.
hand, it was amazing. And do you know my favorite thing? I love the fact that this is, the nerdiness of my part. So it's the banner is Tycho's third company banner. Okay. And this piece was actually called Captain Antargo, which is the third company replacement captain after Maccabee. So it's the third company captain of Blood Angels. The banner is like obviously Tycho's relic banner as well, which is really cool. And
It's very Tycho, isn't it?
it's
All
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
He's even got like like Tycho's wing on the shoulder as
Yes.
well, which is just great with the 3 blood drops. But the thing I was going to say about the banner is the fact that it's got really subtle micro texture, like the texture. It's really really subtle,
Yeah, you can tell.
textured, and like it just shows like a delicate kind of like felt like weave or like a weave on it. It's just in hand. It was just jaw dropping, and I am fanboying because it's a Blood Angel and it's third company, my favorite company, all that kind of stuff. But removing all of that, the rendering of it and the paint job was just amazing. Really, really was. Amazing.
The banner almost looks like you would, when you look at old oil paintings, it almost looks like an oil painting, doesn't it?
Yeah, if you don't follow Anthony on socials, please go check him out. It's APS Paints, I believe. But please go check him out because he's phenomenal.
Even down to the small plants and things on the steps and things.
Yeah, fantastic.
It's great.
Really good.
What if I told you can easily take your miniature bases to the next level? Well, now you can with the new basing products from Siege Scenics. Siege Scenics is dedicated to helping you create immersive and realistic environments for your miniatures that feel alive and dynamic, whether you're setting the stage for an epic tabletop battle or telling a rich, unfolding story with your competition display. From the warm hues of autumn to the crisp frost of winter, Siege Scenics has you covered with expertly crafted products that capture the ever-changing beauty of nature and bring it straight to your miniatures. To see the full collection and place your order now, head to siegescenics.co.uk or check the link in this episode's description. Yeah. Any other honourable mentions from you guys in any of the other categories?
Yeah,
I mean, not obviously it's not just about sci-fi.
No, we can't.
No.
So I mean, yeah, like there's like the bus category. So
I was going to say, the bus
category. Let's talk about that because like there's some really amazing entries in there, and like we obviously saw. I'm going to absolutely ruin the pronunciation on the name, so apologies in advance. But Giselle's bust, again, a non-metallic bust, but I love the pose and everything and the sculpt before I even started looking at the paint job. But the paint job was fantastic on it, like really really good. Like the lighting's, it's not like harsh lighting. It's quite muted and soft. It's not like a really harsh kind of like lighting on it, which I really loved. And in hand, again, just the quality and the paint job was just fantastic. The bus category. If you've only ever looked at Warhammer, the bust category is one of my favorite places to point someone to look at, just because it shows a whole wealth and depth of different. It's a different approach to painting a bust. And like to have the talent to paint something, we saw obviously a Space Marine that got silver in single fig, to have the ability to paint that and then paint a bust to this standard as well shows a great acumen of painting ability in him as well, which is just amazing. As we go through it, obviously you've got Martin Collier's sort of really awesome pig bust, which is just
is that
incredible.
like supposed to be like Saw, or is it?
I'm not sure. You'd have to ask Martin on that one.
Yeah,
but like it's really cool because obviously it's in a framed box, which is quite cool as well. It's presented a bit differently as well.
With the like semi-opaque kind of dirty cracked glass as well, you can like see the hands like behind it.
It's
but
really
it's, like
cool.
dirty. That's
It looks
really
like,
cool.
it
use
looks
of
like he
texture.
smashed through the window, which is amazing. Like it's a really really cool.
It's like he's breaking
piece.
out of the frame.
Yeah, but the skin on it, the skin in the hand
it's flawless.
was just like amazing, absolutely amazing.
As a vegetarian, it's a bit difficult to look at, but
I do you know what? And it's going to sound really weird. I obviously that my favorite thing is the hammer, and like everything's amazing on it, but the hammer's amazing because like the thought process of like one side of it, like the edge that's been hitting something, having all the grime and the blood, and then the backside, it's just really cool as a piece. Like, and it's something totally different as well, which I think is great.
Yeah,
but. Obviously, moving on to Ross Hovey's like King in.
Is that King Theoden, or does that just look like King Theoden?
I don't know, but I don't know who it's supposed to be, but the paint job on this was
mental,
was out of this world. Like absolutely out of this world.
I think the eyes and the fingernails and things.
It is just my favorite thing is the lighting effect of the light hitting the chalice and reflecting on his beard. It's one of my favorite.
Oh, wow.
It's one of my favorite parts of it, and it's such a subtle little thing. But
to even start to think about that process,
but it just shows an understanding of light and light theory that is what really, really seals this for me. And this is one of the things that, like, when the judges were looking at it, it's things like that they were like, "This is amazing." And like it almost looks like a painting in the photo, like the photo we've taken. It looks like a painting. It's that good, you know. And like in hand. It was just a mega, like absolutely mega.
I think for me, it's quite a unique texture to see, like the wood, like throne that you're sitting on. It's that like damp texture almost. You know what I mean? Like,
it just shows age. It shows that age. You know, like you know, which I think
normally you would expect to see someone goes, "Oh, I'm going to paint like wood," and they just go for like the default sort of what you picture in your head.
Yeah,
warm, light, slightly orange tones.
But I think keeping the tones working with the piece as well. It's quite. Like, you know, the tones work really nicely with the rest of the colours on there, and it's almost got like a bit of a yellowish tint to it, which again shows good understanding because it's working with the purple. That's the subtle purple tones on the that's kind of like obviously the emerald, but the other bits that have got like a bit of a purplish hue, like a lavender kind of tone to them. It's just a really great understanding of light and also colour. It sounds really silly, but I love the plinth as well. Just the wooden plinth. I completely agree. I think it matched like the aged look of the model as well. It's not like
goes with it.
You can use all manner of plinths. Obviously, Taro does a load. You know, obviously you got loads of other people out there that make plinths and stuff. But I think that's just shows a really good understanding of like matching the feel and vibe across every aspect of it. So yeah, but they were some pieces that really, really stood out. But the junior category, as I mentioned, that IronSkull on stage, like we announced the awards, was like it's the future of the industry, and like the junior category is great because it really shows like, and you can always tell where the painting community is at, like from that category. Some of these entries were wild, like, you know, and there wasn't loads this year at IronSkull and Junior. I mean, I really implore you, if you're watching this and you're under 16, like to enter, because it's a really great category and it's just great to see what you guys and girls do. Also got this Armiger from Rohan first, which is great, really weathered, it looks amazing. And bear in mind, this is done by somebody under the age of 16. It's just nuts. Like it's just
a big model as well.
It's a big model, It's a big imposing model to tackle. Like all the lighting effects on the eyes, the rust, you know,
everywhere.
It's just fantastic, you know.
Glowing, he's got the glowing eyes there.
Yeah, it just incredible.
Yeah.
We then move on to Atherley, which honestly, this model, the understanding of like painting and just like light and other bits and bobs is just fantastic. Like doing a resin pour.
Yeah.
albeit obviously it's a first time they've done a resin pour or whatever. Like, I think correct me if I'm wrong, but I think from when I spoke to him, he's got a whole army with resin pour, which for somebody under the age of 16 is
that's a big
it's
undertaking.
a big undertaking. So it's really brave painting.
For anyone, any age.
Yeah. It's a really,
I don't want to do it.
It's a really brave approach to painting.
And especially after you've painted your miniature
100%.
and now you're going to pour resin on it. If it goes wrong,
it's just
what can you do?
fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely
That's really
fantastic.
good, yeah.
But this was a mega model, and I was
it's
very
typhus.
very fortunate to see. Yeah, I know you're going to love it. Yeah. And then we obviously, we've got to move on to the first place in junior, which Paul he travelled over from France with his family, which was again crazy to think of that, but just the paint job on this, the judges were like, honestly, like wowed by this, like the quality of it, the blending on on the weapons, the flame effects, like even the composition of the base with the little rat, and and like it again has like a resin pour on it as well. Like it just
at the bottom there,
like it is just wild. Like some of the stuff that's done on here for somebody of that age, and again, not to take away from them because of their age, but just to show how good.
Yeah. If you put your mind to it, and some time, you can achieve these things.
Just fantastic.
It's great.
Yeah,
So
but
nice
the junior cat, bust, and single were kind of like things. So is there anything that stood out to you?
Well, I think we've already spoken about the two paint pots having a fight. But I mean, I didn't get round all of the miniatures, unfortunately. But I mean, I did get to see quite a few. I was handing them back over to people.
Yeah.
But there was, of course, you had I think there was two sort of Gretchen falling out of an aircraft. You know the one I mean?
I know one. Yeah, Tarot's one. Yeah, that was fantastic.
I love that. That's like the comedy aspect of that. And you've got the fire extinguisher coming out. And that's so good. It's just stuff like that. I think because a lot of it, we take these sort of things so seriously.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we are allowed to have a laugh at the same time.
That's why I love Orcs, because you get that amazing opportunity to be as creative and crazy as you like, and have a comical aspect to it as well.
And still have the serious side of putting that kind of thing together, the painting process and everything else, and the composition and all that. Yeah, it was great. You had to look. I think you had to look at it at a certain angle, a bit lower to get the perspective right. But yeah, that was great. I love that.
It's fantastic. It's really good. It's done the rounds at different comps. It's always done well, and I think that's testament to James and what he's actually done with that piece, which is really good. Obviously, we've got to speak about best in show. Obviously, Nicholas done amazing with his I mean, Nicholas is a prolific painter in his own right, and has won obviously multiple different competitions out there, and like. It was a real pleasure for him to come over, and to enter. His fantasy single has been done the rounds again, but like a fantastic, absolutely fantastic paint job. Like the judges were honestly looking at it, and when it came to that category and judging it, that it was tough. Like single figure sci-fi was tough, but fantasy was also very, very tough. Nicholas's fantasy single was obviously amazing. Well, we've done something quite interesting actually. Like judging best of show, we literally we pulled off every single gold from every cabinet and changed the tables into a square, put all the golds down on the table, and then normally what happens is that you'll see at various competitions the judging the best of show. So we literally grabbed every single roller banner we could and just like sectioned off the table so that the judges could do it without loads of peering eyes, because we want the suspense to be there. We don't want people to know what Vesti's show is until obviously it's announced. But it was like getting roller banners to hide different angle points was brilliant. But overall, like so many fantastic entries across the day, and it was a real pleasure to be inside the Alamo or Cabinet Fort and look at them. It was fantastic.
I of course wanted to just go over the Siege Staff Cat as well. I mean,
the Lion's Den.
Finally, we can talk about obviously our entries.
Talk about your models now. You're allowed to talk about your models.
We'll probably talk about it a bit more in depth in the post show for the patrons. But it was so fun doing the staff category, because it was like you said. So for anyone who doesn't know, we all had to keep our entries a secret from each other, and it wasn't until stuff went in the cabinet that it was like finally revealed. But one thing James didn't quite explain to me was there was almost even an extra twist on that, because I just sort of turned around, like we were still setting up in the morning. I just sort of turned around and stuff just like started appearing in the staff category cabinet, but no one had actually mentioned whose was whose. So I thought that there was going to be this big like, oh, I done this, and there wasn't even that. It was just there was stuff in the cabinet, and you had to start like.
First time you get to see it is
Yeah.
what's in the cabinet.
Who did
yeah.
this? Yeah.
And I was like asking everyone, like, who painted that one? Who
But
painted
that's
that one?
exactly the reason why, because it breeds the conversation, and that's
brilliant,
that's
yeah.
the best, and that's why I love it. Because the thing is like, if everybody's like talking to each other in the lead up, talking about their entries, etc., you're kind of like deflating the impact of like seeing it.
Yeah.
So like, by not posting anything and not talking about it, when you first see it, it's like you do have that, wow, look at that, oh wow, look at that, and that's where the jitters start coming. So, oh my god, I don't know if I'm gonna. That's kind of what happens.
No, it was great. It was so funny. Yeah, it was really good.
Should we go over the winners then?
Yeah,
just briefly. So in bronze was of course Aaron Clark with a Emperor's Children.
Fantastic model.
Is it Praetor? Is that the right
I
word?
think it's Praetor.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, fantastic model.
Yeah, that pink.
It's great, isn't it? Really, really good.
I really like the reflection of in the end of the blade, the sort of green as like a continuation of where the base is.
That's great.
Yeah.
Really good. And even the skull on the bottom right, having that little reflection, a little sort of the glow effect on the skull looks great as well.
Yeah.
I think the metallics, the non-metallics look amazing as well.
I was going to say, they're all right.
Yeah.
Was also, I think, a really bold choice, the like sort of aqua blue kind of color.
I love it.
Very, very vibrant.
Yeah, it works really well. It works really well with the pinky sort of
Was
like
there?
purple.
Does it? I mean, it looks like there's a bit of freehand on the back of that.
Yeah, there
cover.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's honestly fantastic in hand. Like, and then this may have got a bronze, but it's just fantastic. Like, honestly, bronze for this is just amazing model, obviously. Like, and I know Aaron put a lot of time into it, so just really, really well presented, and the colours, as we said, look great. I love the green glow on the leg as well. If you look at just on the inside of the right leg,
very subtle, but it's really nice. Yeah,
it just works really nicely. But yeah, he smashed it. Absolutely smashed it.
And then silver, you of course have Cy Jones.
Yes.
Is that a Chaos Dwarf?
Yeah, Chaos Dwarf. Yeah. So
some lovely glow effects on this one as well.
Yeah, just really well done. Like very subtle, the green on the leg, the flames, obviously the bluish flame, etheric flame on his arm as well. But and the non-metallics look really, really good.
It's a really tiny model as well, which can be
it's small. Yeah,
I will say with all of these photos, it can be hard to gauge the scale of some of this
Yeah,
stuff.
true.
Like in one of the categories, there was like a giant space marine. But in the photo, it almost looks like to scale.
Yeah.
But it's like this big.
Yeah. That's a testament to the paint job on that. I mean, to make it to be believable to be like that as well.
Yeah.
But
this dwarf is like absolutely tiny. I've seen it in hand.
Yeah, it's small. I just love the little things that Cy's done. Like, for example, again, it's the metals absorbing like tone and color around them. Look at where the red glove touches the staff. Like, you've got a reddish kind of tone on there as well. You got a little bit of like a reflection. So you got the blue on the staff reflecting from the orb that's near it as well.
Yeah.
Which is just really great thought of color usage and lighting and reflections, which I think is really a testament to the effort that Simon's that Simon's put into this model. So yeah, really well done.
It's nice because obviously all the artists at Siege paint to a
very high standard. But with these, they're all kind of let off the leashes a bit, aren't they? Free reign.
Yeah, just to
go crazy, go full
really
beams.
flex their skills. It's so good. It's it's a lot to aspire to. Some of these, like being in the same cabinet as like these guys, is crazy. But yeah, it's so good. They're so good.
Big news, some huge updates have arrived to the Siege Studios Patreon to give you brand new perks and includes even more bonus content. Our refreshed tiers include extended ad-free episodes of this podcast, including our new post show, extended masterclass video tutorials with bonus tips and techniques, invitations to hobby hangouts with us, exclusive Discord channels, and of course, instant access to hundreds of easy-to-follow, step-by-step PDF tutorials updated every single month. And you can even get dedicated video feedback of your miniatures with our critique clinic, so you'll always know what skills you need to improve next. So what are you waiting for? Take the next leap in miniature painting and improve your skills for the same price as just a few pots of paint. Head to patreon.com/Siege Studios to learn more.
Testament has got to go to Mr. James Woolley.
Funny thing about this one, actually. I was chatting to James before he put his model in, and he was like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to throw something in. Like, I didn't have a lot of time. But, I'm here now, aren't I? So I guess,
Yeah.
And he was like, he was trying to caveat to me that he was like, oh, I know this won't place. But, I just wanted to take part.
Absolute
and then
sleeper.
Drops the mic and wins gold.
Is this the free one that you get in the shop?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a free one you get in the shop. It's a marine drop, not a mic drop.
Yeah.
Literally, this is mega, absolutely mega. Like again, when the judges looked at it, the refinement on it was absolutely exquisite. Like, just really well done. Like, little things like, for example, you've got the lava base on the bottom, and if you look at the underside of the fuel canister, the Promethean canister, even the underside of the under grip on the front of the gun,
inside of the legs as well.
Yeah, it's just got this really subtle lighting effect and shadow, and it's high contrast, sharp as a razor. The painting on this, like the edges and stuff, were just really, really well done. And then that's before we even talk about like the free-handed flames on the shoulder guards. Like, they're just he absolutely killed it. And
it's amazing.
Yeah, really, really well
but
done.
again, talking about how you can incorporate stuff like this into your own models, like if you was doing salamanders, like free-handing those flames on the shoulder pads is obviously a big time sink. But if you had like a character, like a captain or something like that, again, that you could definitely take out of entries like this and incorporate into your own miniatures.
Yeah, there's like I said before, you go around to these things and look at what they've put in there. There's so much in these. Oh, I can try that next time, or what? Oh, I fancy having a go at that. There's so much of that in there. Like everyone that I spoke to were more than happy to tell me how they did it.
Yeah.
So it
community aspect of the competition was wonderful.
I've got to say this, like the environment. I mean, I didn't really get to experience IronSkull like everyone
as an
else
attendee.
Did. Yeah, I didn't really get to. So I picked up on little bits and bobs throughout the day. But like from what everyone said to me and from the amazing messages and super kind stuff that people have said afterwards, the environment was really, really positive, which I really loved, and I wanted that to be part of what IronSkull is all about. So fantastic event. I was overjoyed with it. And I definitely slept on Sunday. So yeah.
Talking about Sunday, I was nodding off as soon as I got in on Saturday evening.
God,
this is one of those moments where you sit down in a chair and your legs start to fizz because you've been up all day.
Talking about that, I sent a post. I put something out on socials. I accidentally got mistaken. I thought I'd done nearly 30,000 steps across the week. Turns out it was on Saturday.
Just that day. Yeah,
which was mental.
It was an early start.
People keep saying to me, "Oh, where's James?"
He vanished. He just vanished.
I don't know. He could be anywhere at this point, or he's omnipresent at this point. He's everywhere.
Paul, I was with James. He stood here. I literally turned my head
and he's gone.
And then turned back and he's gone.
Yeah.
And I do a full 360 and it's like, how could he have gotten so far
in a split second?
Seconds?
What I didn't say is I burnt the soles out on my boots that day.
I'll tell you where you didn't manage to get around, and that was the Warboot side of things.
Well.
If only we had someone who was there.
Everyone else was safe, I think.
Yeah. So, Warboot was safe this year.
Yeah.
Or not. Because
did you actually get some?
Because
did you go round?
Because I had a cheeky look. I'd done a live.
I didn't get to experience IronSkull like everyone else.
No, you're right. But I got to experience Warboot.
But it wouldn't be Warboot, would it? Without
it wouldn't be Warboot.
Warboot was a big hit, by the way, because there was a lot of people obviously who went to IronSkull. They were there for the competition.
Yeah,
Warboot was like a little bonus. I'm sure they've heard us talk about it. I've seen it on socials, and people were popping off. I saw someone. I think it was the Sprugoons actually.
He took
walking out with a crate.
Scenery.
He comes over to me. He's like, I don't know what happened. I was over there looking at the tables, and then before I knew it, my wallet's out. Crate in hand.
Yeah.
Welcome to Warboot. Yeah, that's the problem.
I noticed there was some people selling Pokemon cards.
Yeah, there was Magic there. There was everything.
A
bit of thing for everyone, which was great.
People clearing out their lofts.
100%. Yeah.
Some bargains there as well.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't partake, but I of course went round to get some of the footage and stuff, which is on screen now for the listeners. And through the viewfinder of my camera, if you will, I'm like getting a little bit of a sneak at some of the stuff that was there.
Well,
the amount of there was one trader there. And they just had loads of old retro stuff, but everything was like individually bagged and labelled.
I'm glad you brought Mark up because he won't mind me saying this because Mark kindly made me aware of a certain thing that I've been looking for quite a while.
Yeah.
And I managed to bag myself that. So
yeah.
But I didn't pick it up till the end of the day when everyone was
What did you get?
So I stupidly, I've not brought it with me today for recording, but it is an old Forge World. I'll put a picture of it up. It's an old Forge World Blood Angel Leonatus. So there used to be Blood Quest. It was a Warhammer Monthly series when they done like a comic book. Captain Leonatus was a Blood Angel captain that got exiled from the chapter, and he had to go hunt for a lost sword. And
just losing their things, aren't they?
Yeah.
So clumsy.
Like me, I lose my keys all the time.
Yeah, we know. We know about that.
I know. Let's not go into that. But the Forge World done a Leonatus statuette model.
Yes.
And he very kindly made me aware of it, and I very kindly said yes, please. And
Yeah.
I very kindly took that home on
I bet
Saturday
you
night.
did. Yeah, but you raced right over there, didn't you?
Not a miniature, a statuette.
It's just, it's a
okay.
it's a decent sized model.
I'm looking at there is a miniature for it though.
Yeah, there was a Black Library limited edition model, and then there was a Forge World larger model.
Yeah.
I
which was
love how James finds the stuff so rare, like even Google doesn't know it exists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Google's like, no, it doesn't. Yes, it does.
yeah. Sorry about that, but yeah, no.
Yeah.
So I basically
So you did get round there.
well, I didn't go round. Mark
Oh,
made
right.
me aware of it.
You just beeline straight
Mark,
for the.
Mark made me aware of it pre-event
Yeah.
because he knew I was going to be busy and he knew I was going to want it.
It's so classic, isn't it?
and then
even before anyone's turned up,
and
you
then
already know what you
and
want.
then he held on to it for me because I'd looked at it, saw that it was in. It's in one of the classic white boxes, the old Forge World white boxes. I was like, yeah, 100%. Yeah, there's no way.
I can't wait for like 20 years from now when James is selling all this stuff at Warboot because he never painted it, never got around to using it,
don't
never
need
doing
it
anything
anymore.
with it.
Look, you can
Because
be,
these people, James is just like one step below them. He's the purchaser,
Yeah.
but eventually he will graduate, you know?
yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I vaguely remember.
Oh,
that.
okay.
it's a great model.
Mm.
Yeah, it's retro as
Yeah,
anything,
I was
but
gonna say,
I love it. But yeah, so
Yeah.
that was the only thing that I acquired, which I was quite happy about. But
That was enough. You only had time.
Oh yeah,
for that,
100% didn't, and that was literally at the end of the
We
day.
had enough to carry home, didn't we?
But you're right, Warboot, a lot of positivity from it, and I think that's the real difficult thing with the comp. It's like making sure you got enough there for people to do once they've put.
Oh, there was loads of stuff. I mean, there was traders there as well. If anyone wasn't there was like actual retailers, plenty of stands, and like not just like copy paste hobby shop, like interesting stuff that you wouldn't have seen before.
Like Rich Mason with his artwork.
Yeah,
I thought that was what when Rich messaged me and said like I'd love to come, and I said, well, do you like? I'd love to have like your artwork there, and he was like, cool. Like it was the first trade show he'd ever done, and he was like, can I have a stand? I was like, yeah, sure. Like, it'd be amazing to see your artwork in hand, you know. And,
there was all sorts of stuff. There was like miniatures and busts,
like
props.
Warmag were there. Everything
Yeah.
Airbrush obviously came down. I know they sponsor us, but like obviously we invited them down to obviously they sponsored the event and came down, which was amazing. Adam and Tim came down, which was great.
Like props and things, weren't they? Help.
Oh yeah, well, Chris with the Monster
Chris,
Merchants. Yeah, like it's amazing. Like to see
And
like,
a photo taken. With
that
the,
went down amazingly.
some weapons and something.
that was like so many people said to me like just being able to like go and have a bit of fun and just get a photo with a giant chainsaw.
That's right.
Like,
yeah,
you know?
it's great. Fantastic.
Yeah,
Paul got a pic as well, didn't you?
Yeah. He messaged me this photo that popped up on Instagram from their reel.
Yeah, I saw it. I screenshot that.
It'll be on screen.
I was at home on Sunday night, and I was literally like, Paul got a picture with the pulse rifle from Alien.
Look at my little face. It's so random.
Do you know what you didn't see though? Did you see the picture of Dave with the pulse rifle? That was good. We'll get
That's
on
a
there.
little Easter egg.
Yeah, we'll get on there. But yeah, like it was a fantastic event, like really good. And
it was nice to meet so many people as well.
Yeah. So many people that watch the podcast or listen to it. I had so many people come up to me and say, I recognise that voice because they sort of they listen to us on the way to work or
it's crazy.
doing things.
It's absolutely crazy.
Good. That was so nice to meet everyone. And our shout out to the four lads that we can never remember the name of, but they know who they are.
Yeah,
they were there as well.
That was amazing, honestly.
I think that's our official title now. Just them four lads.
The four lads. They know who they are.
Yeah, I walked around, obviously, hence the 30,000 steps or whatever. But I walked around a lot, obviously, on the day, and there were lots of people that quickly went, "Oh, I'd like to see you," like about the podcast, really positive stuff. So just a big thank you if you did say hello and stop by. Like, I'm sorry, apologies, I didn't have a chance to properly talk to you for as long as I wanted. Like, but
it's nice to see Logan as well there again.
Yeah, really good to see Logan there. Yeah,
a couple of former podcast guests.
Oh yeah,
sort
of popping
good.
around.
Yeah. And I will say this now, just while we're here, like, again, Dave, who's obviously been on the podcast. Dave Taylor, he helped out as well. So it wasn't just a Siege team. He really sort of like said, look, I'll do anything you want me to help you. Like, really want to help you with the event. So yeah, just a big thanks to Dave as well, because that was amazing to have him there. Like, and everyone really, all the guys in Siege that helped out, guys and girls that helped. And yeah, just everyone there, the retailers, everyone. I've said it a million times on stage anyway, but like, I really mean it. Like, everyone that was involved helped make it the event that it was. So yeah.
I'll tell you what, James, we'll hit that back. Thank you for putting on such a wonderful event because we had a great time.
It was great. It was my first event, and it's quite enjoyable. Really, I really liked it.
For 2 days, I'm not surprised.
Quite looking forward to the next. It makes me want to enter more competitions.
Good. I'm glad. That's
it. Kind of gives me the bug to. Actually, I quite enjoyed that.
I think that is ultimately the most important thing. Is that if for anybody that's new to it, the one thing you get out of IronSkull is it helps you defeat any worry or fear or uncertainty about doing it. If it helps you do that, then it's been a success, and that's really kind of.
I had a bunch of people come up to me, obviously, known from the podcast and whatnot, and people were saying like, "Oh, I wasn't going to enter, but you said to enter, so I did." And they're like, "Oh, I'm glad I did because
I had a
get to take part, put your model in the cabinet, you get to sit in there with everyone else, chat to other people, go around."
They weren't going to enter, but because of some information in the podcast in the past, they took a chance and did it anyway.
Do you know one thing I'm going to do more of next year? 100%. I'm definitely going to get more "my name is" badges for people, because I had so many people come up to me and go, "That's an amazing idea," because I can actually, if I've been following someone for so long on Instagram, but I don't know what they look like. I had so many people say to me, "Please, can I get more of these? Or can I get another one? Or can you do this more often?" Because that in itself.
Did we run out? I saw quite a few people.
Did we run out? Yeah, because I didn't know how many people want to put the name down and wear a badge or whatever.
I saw quite a few people wandering around with the "Hello, my name."
Plus, that was so much fun. Just going, "Oh, hello, Dave," and they're like, "How do you know my name?" It's on your badge. It's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that." Yeah, catching people out.
I think it really helped, And I think that was one of the things that immediately I want to do this year when I started thinking about it. Was like, it is a community meetup. It is a celebration of all the painting. So what makes that easier is if you know everyone, or you can at least go, "Hi, I follow you on Instagram," or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. The community vibe was really high, especially with the award ceremony. Like there was so many people around a big stage.
It was just absolutely amazing, and it really, really, all the time away that the comp had during those years where obviously all that stuff happened, it made up for all of that in one massive, awesome event. And it was like crazy for me to see the reception of it, and I was just like, because while I was sorting the trophies, because obviously I finished. Tara obviously sculpted them and sculpted the new batch. Oh, sorry, Tara cast the new batch for me quite a while ago. And actually, some of them, those trophies, actually ones that should have been for 21 and 22. So they've been sitting in my garage for like years. They did a little bit of cleanup. Obviously, all resin things do. And I really wanted the trophies to be the best that they could be this year. And
they're very high quality trophies. I mean, you can see behind me that's the best in show trophy, and then behind James is the gold
one. Yeah,
but it's a solid.
If you want some stats, that each trophy weighs 1.39 kg. So we put a lot of. It's a solid bit of resin. And that is the one you picked up. That is the original. That's the test for the best in show trophy. We wanted to keep that one because it's like this little bit of history of the comp. But yeah, I really wanted a trophy which for me personally, one thing I really wanted with it was like the first time someone feels the weight of it and picks one up, it kind of like all the effort and work that goes into the paint job. It's like, I don't know. I wanted something that felt
matches the quality.
I wanted something that matched the quality of that, and I think for me that was something that was really important. And
people probably saw if you follow James on Instagram, we all saw in your story you
I've wet sanded the trophies. I've wet sanded more trophies than I care to remember. So a
lot of love's gone into them.
Yeah. As I said, like I'm not going to say they're perfect because they're not. There's still little imperfections and stuff, obviously, with the resin trophy. But like next year, I'm going to do even more stuff.
This year was even bigger and better, and next year is even bigger and better,
longer. Yeah. I really wanted the event to be. I've always wanted it to be like 2020 was a 1 day event, and I think that was right. But this year I think was like the max size that we'd be able to do for a 1 day. I mean, it
was packed in there, wasn't it?
Yeah,
like, in a good way.
Yeah, in a good way. Yeah, like it's a 2,500 capacity venue, so you got a lot. You can get a lot of people in there, but obviously I want it to feel busy and have a really good place for people to catch up. Obviously, in the community for a painting event. But I don't want it to be like you.
It didn't feel like you were shoulder to shoulder.
No, exactly. Yeah,
a lot of the time.
I think we could easily have had maybe a third more, and it would have still been really, really good, And I think that's kind of like what I'd like to aim for next year. But yeah, like just the logistics of running a single day it's quite intense. So I was a bit oppressive with timekeeping on the day, which I had to be just because obviously we had only X amount of time. And I think that's one of the things that deems it being a 2-day event. It's not even about anything else other than the I think it's the judging really. Being able to have a bit of an overnight on the judging just helps. Plenty of other competitions do that, and it works really well. It means the judges don't feel under so much personal scrutiny when they're judging, so they have to make the decision, and it gives more time. Ultimately, gives more time viewing the miniatures, which I think is what is needed and deserved for the hard work and effort that's put into the models from people. So yeah, and especially with it being obviously cabinets, we formed Square, or formed the Alamo with obviously the cabinets and stuff. And something to be conscious of, obviously, with that is that people are obviously working in the cabinets, but they're obviously looking through to watch the judging as it's happening, and you are almost like animals in a zoo,
it's like a goldfish bowl,
under scrutiny. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That's why things like, for example, like how the models are moved and how the models are held, how the models are transported, like all this stuff is done with the knowledge and understanding that you are. It's almost like going to a restaurant and you see the chefs cooking. You want it's very much like that, and you kind of want to be able to be aware of that and be conscious of that, so that you're doing all the things that the models warrant and deserve in the sense of handling and manipulation and obviously scrutiny and all that kind of stuff. And then same as like people that maybe enter stuff and they fear that it's not going to get looked at and stuff like that. I think that's one of the biggest fears. So again, 2-day event gets rid of all the problems with things like that, and allows obviously for judging when you're not under pressure of being watched, where you can take more time on a certain model and not make people think, oh, they're valuing that one more than other ones. Does that make sense? Like you kind of got to have that. So so that's kind of why we're doing 2 days.
Does that also mean if you got doing it over 2 days, you can have more people into the actual competition?
Hopefully, hopefully, because then it gives
it might even be needed. We sold a lot of tickets this year, and the cabinets were full. So next year's going to be even bigger. Potentially we'll sell even more tickets. So
I am going to be the categories are going to be changing as well. So there are some tweaks.
Ooh.
Yeah, so there are some tweaks already, and that's from feedback from people on the day, which I value hugely. It's feedback from talking to judges. It's feedback from talking to obviously people who have entered and won and that kind of stuff. We immediately want to get on it like it's hot and make sure that year 3 is the best year it can be.
I'm quite personally looking forward to the Space Marines on unicycles category. That'll be quite cool. That'll be interesting.
I can confirm right now for you, Paul, and everybody that will not be a category. I
saw 2 paint pots fighting it out in
that was hilarious. Yeah, great.
There was some great fun that went.
There were some really good ones. Yeah. So I'll say it now because there is something that is straight away we're going to do. So scene as a category is going to be changing. So your diorama will be its own category. Duel will be its own category. We're going to separate that.
I prefer that personally.
Yeah, it's going to be separated. And the other thing that we're going to do is like large models, like for example, like monsters and things like that. We're going to be doing separate categories for sci-fi, fantasy, and obviously vehicle will have sci-fi and fantasy. Purely because I think there was a lot of models in that single category. And I don't want to read that name out again because it was so damn long.
Yeah, but there was also tons of just overall the event. I was pleasantly surprised at how much like non-Warhammer there was. There was a whole variety of stuff, which was nice exposure for me as someone who sits in a bit of an echo chamber sometimes. Yeah. Seeing loads of like, not only the busts, obviously, but like larger figures, stuff from systems I've never even seen. I mean, there was like a battle snail.
It was amazing.
I know, right?
I know. It was
and a little mushroom.
It was incredible, wasn't it?
There was a cat. There
was some really cool.
It was quite
stuff.
nice seeing some of the historical figures.
Yeah, they were great.
Seeing some of those took me right back to when I was like a young lad and watching my dad. Like he used to paint historical figures.
Oh, really?
About that sort of with oils and things like that sort of stuff.
Well, I really want people to be able to enter like the thing that I started this whole thing with, which is like Airfix kits. I'd love to see like really well presented.
Yeah.
Like
now you're speaking my language.
Like honestly, like I'd love to see stuff like into that, like historical vehicle and have like a Hurricane or a Spitfire, like or whatever we can fit in the cabinet. Please,
I put in a petition.
Please don't bring a 1/52 scale Lancaster bomber and expect it to go in the cabinet because it's not going to.
Can I have a petition for a 1995 to 2000 Japanese domestic market vehicles modified only.
Well, technically, it's a historical vehicle because it's in the past, so you can.
Say no more.
Yeah. So
You have to pick a scale and stick to that.
But I do want to see stuff like that because I think that's what makes it really interesting. Like, look, I'm a huge passionate Warhammer fan. I love Warhammer models, and obviously that's my bread and butter. That's what I love. But I think within the comp, it would be nice to see other things. I just want to. I don't want to rant on for too long, but because I realise it's just going to be me talking about the competition, whatever. But I do want to say the most important category at the event was the junior category, and I really mean this when I say this. The standard in junior this year was there wasn't loads of entries, which is commonplace in junior. But I would implore, if you're watching this and you've got a son or daughter, or you're under 16 watching this, enter the competition or enter any competition and enter in the junior category because you are the future of the miniature painting industry. And I really, really implore you to do that because it was fantastic to see the quality. We'll talk about the winner, but the story of the winner and in junior and like how far they traveled and like the effort and all that kind of stuff was exactly what IronSkull is all about. It's about people entering that have we had loads of new people that have never entered competitions before who braved obviously any fear or anxiety or worry about entering the competition and threw caution to the wind and got involved in the competition. And I think that is so humbling for IronSkull in general to have so many new people enter. We had everything from brand new people all the way through to multi-award winning people that have traveled internationally. So like that span of individual that comes to the competition is what IronSkull is all about.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I did find that a lot of people that I spoke to were entering for the first time.
Yeah.
And quite a high percentage of those people were using techniques for the first time
It's incredible.
on their entries. So like
Absolutely
OSL
amazing.
or non-metallic or all that sort of stuff. So they were kind of putting themselves in that sort of position to try new things
Outside the comfort zone.
to push
100%.
themselves through the competition.
Yeah,
So,
100%.
yeah, but it was really. It's like I said the same thing. Well, it's my first time as well. So, but yeah, it was so good to talk to everyone about it.
It was great.
On that note, I think we'll have to round out the show there. Maybe we could talk about the our entries pool in the post show.
Yeah,
a bit more. Yeah, because we're a bit short for time.
Seeing as James didn't have an entry,
Wasn't allowed. Banned myself.
banned myself. I'm too good.
No, that's definitely not the reason why.
Yeah, but massive thank you for listening to this week's episode of Paint Perspective. Like I said, we're going to jump over now to the post show, which is benefit for our patrons. So if you want to get ad-free episodes of these podcasts extended, an extra 20, 30 minutes, it's like a third of the podcast you're missing out on. So check the link in the description to the Patreon. You'll also get access to our tutorials, PDFs, hobby hangouts, loads of other cool benefits. So check the link below. Otherwise, thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. I can talk about my nightmare finally.
Come on, tell me about the basing drama.
Tried sculpting like individual tiles out of like Milliput and kind of like chucking them all on there. And it looked really bad.
What are you rolling them out on? A banana?
Skill issue.
Like,
I don't think I even used a roller.